How do you move on when you feel that all of your university friendships have died? How do I deal with FOMO and avoid doing things just for the sake of it? I'm dating an older man and I need a parasocial big sister to tell me what I don't want to hear. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. You might be thinking, Lucy, why are we in this background again? Why are we having another sit down talking video? Well guys, let's do a 5-minute Lucy news update. Bullet points are, we get the keys on Friday, we move in this weekend. So excited. We've been staying at my friend Alice's flat, which is where you see here, for the past few weeks on and off, and I'm so grateful. But in the next video you see from me, it will be shot in my flat. So yeah, endlessly grateful, feeling very stressed and overwhelmed. I had a huge video planned for this week, but it just can't get done in time and it won't be to the quality that I wanted it to be. So I thought, let me pull from my pool of wisdom and give you some advice on your love and relationship and friendship scenarios. I've had my fair share of drama and I'm here to try and help you get through yours. In the cup is an oat flat white, and at the end I've got one wild card. So I'm gonna pull one off of my Instagram stories. How do you move on after your partner cheated on you? First of all, I am so sorry this happened. There are two scenarios here. The commenter didn't say whether they are still with the partner or whether they've left them. In the case that you've left the relationship, I would just advise to mute them on all social media. That's what really helped me get over my last relationship, and it was a game changer, and it actually meant that I didn't do any of the drunk calling, crying down the phone, the embarrassing texts. We mutually blocked each other and then met up 5 months later. Integral to that was blocking, deleting numbers, cutting off for a period of months where we could both mourn and process the end of the relationship. Cool, I hope that we're talking about my relationships. If you're still together, honestly, you're just gonna have to talk about it. And you're gonna have to come to your partner with new boundaries in place and tell them what you need in order to heal. This will be a two-way street, but ultimately the burden is on your partner to do more of the work, in my opinion, because they're the one that betrayed the trust. And trust is earned. In terms of working on yourself, and this is the work that I think you'll be putting in, do not let the cheating manifest in feelings of inadequacy. Cheating never means that you weren't good enough. I would shout that from the top of a soapbox. It just means your partner has some kind of issues themselves, probably impulse control issues or something much deeper. Or maybe they're just not a good person. The cheating is never a reflection on you. It's something going on with the person who cheated. If those thoughts creep into your mind, push them back out. Keep yourself busy, make sure you're seeing a lot of your friends, make sure you're talking about things with them and let them validate you as well. You are great, and the cheater deserves to live with that guilt for the rest of their life. Cheers to that. How do I deal with FOMO and avoid doing things just for the sake of it, i.e. going on nights out? So I think there's rational FOMO and slightly irrational FOMO, and let me talk about that. I say rational FOMO is you see people doing something amazing and you feel left out and you want to join in. I think that's a part of life, but it's something that you can navigate. I would say irrational FOMO is seeing every time your friends hang out without you, even if often you hang out with your friends, you get FOMO. Getting FOMO about every single thing, I think, signifies that there's a deeper fear that you have around relationships, stability or control, and maybe that's something to look into and deal with. If you feel secure in your friendships, you probably won't feel FOMO when 2 of your friends meet up because you're still part of the group chat. You're still around them all the time anyway. Obviously it's all circumstantial though. If you're experiencing FOMO, something I would say is remind yourself it's never that good IRL. I've experienced FOMO around friendships and wanting to be like part of friendship circles and thinking, oh my God, their friendship looks so good. And later down the line, when I've spoken to someone who either was or is in that circle, they often tell me that it's not the way it's perceived online. Things are not as smooth sailing as they seem, and there's often more drama in those friendship groups than there has ever been in mine. And I've noticed that without fail. Any glamorous looking, incredible, cool friendship group you want to be a part of, there's always trouble in paradise. And don't let your desire for validation get in the way of your happiness. I think gratitude is key, as is appreciating your friendships and your alone time. And there will always be more nights out, and there will always be better nights out. You do not need to worry about missing out on one random night. I just realized I've not got earrings in. Wait, I'm gonna go put some earrings in. These are the only earrings I can find. I hope that's okay. I'm dating an older man, and I need a parasocial big sister to tell me what I don't want to hear. So, a lot of this is context dependent, but from the tone of your message, the age gap is something that would be frowned upon in society, and it's something that weighs on your mind. So maybe you know it isn't good for you. Since the Demi Lovato song came out that I currently can't remember the name of, but I think it's called 29, I've seen a lot of discussion on TikTok around experiences with older men and younger girls. But one piece of analysis I saw really hit home, and it was about how the characteristics that older men are attracted to in younger women are things like being less committal, being more sexually explorative, being prettier, younger, more youthful, and generally being healthier. And while even the older man might feel well-intentioned, this projection is based all around vulnerability of the younger women, and it all ultimately is a product of the patriarchy. But in this society, there's no way in which that cannot have a power imbalance within that relationship. The age, the authority dynamics, and the patriarchal dynamics, it's unavoidable. Ultimately, they're attracted to someone who's more vulnerable than them, and that is weird. If you are not in a long-term relationship for the whole of your life, then you will fall in love many times. There are multiple people for everyone, so don't make this person your person. How do I find a sense of belonging in my 20s? I don't know if this means like a spiritual, larger sense of belonging in the world, or if this means belonging in terms of just more social. So I'm going to address both. If it is the more like, what is my purpose in life kind of feeling, just keep swimming, take everything day by day. Especially this year, I've definitely bogged myself down in trying to take a huge step back and zoom out, try and find the bigger picture. Ultimately, it's not all that helpful for me, and it kind of just weighs me down on the day-to-day. I'm much happier when I'm just putting one foot in front of the other, and those big epiphanies, they'll come. Ultimately, it's really early days for our life, and it's such a changeable period. I imagine if you're watching this, you're in your teens or your 20s or your 30s. We're so young. We are babies, still finding our feet in the world. So yeah, don't stress if you don't have a greater sense of purpose yet. What kind of calmed my mind in that sense is I took up a little bit of voluntary work. I changed up the content on my channel a bit to have more like meaning, because I was finding that my work life was really devoid of meaning, and that really helped. And then I just kept putting one foot in front of the other. And then in general, this year I've just tried to live more by my principles and let my moral compass guide me. And if you mean belonging in an interpersonal sense, the thing that has always worked for me and seems to work for my friends is throwing yourself into new social situations, especially ones that make you uncomfortable. Whether that's classes, so like gym classes, dance classes, pottery classes, maybe you're doing a writing class, a language class, social groups, for example, like local activism groups, maybe climate activism, maybe political activism, work events, networking, get yourself out there. I could list so many of these third spaces that aren't work and aren't home. You've got to get out there to find your people and your place in the world. So that is what I would recommend. You gotta feel the fear. Feel the fear. How do I deal with having a crush while I am in a happy relationship? Crushes are normal, but how you act on that crush is entirely up to you and will determine whether you stay within the moral boundaries of your relationship. Like, just don't egg it on or indulge in spending time with that person. It's just not fair. It's not good for you, and it's definitely not good for your relationship, and it's not very respectful of your partner. I just think personally, you can't help who you fancy, but you can control how you behave. Those are my feelings on that. Don't feel guilty because you have a crush, because crushes are unavoidable. It's just like how you physically feel. You can't help it. But what you can help is the way you behave around them, how much time you spend with them, how much intimate time you spend with them, like talking one-on-one. These are all things that you do have control over, and you can navigate in a way that is not indulging. How do you know when it's time to give up on a relationship? I think the fact that you're asking this question suggests you're pretty unhappy in your relationship. I would ask yourself, if a friend came to me and explained the relationship dynamics right now and explained the pros and cons of staying with my partner, what would I advise them to do? And your friends are nearly always kinder than you are, but they do always have your interests in mind. If you want to take that out into the real world, talk to your friends about what's going on. My friends have helped me through some of the worst experiences I've had. And every time I've talked to a friend, it has been invaluable. Whether they said anything or not, just having someone to listen and hear you is so amazing. And these situations are always very nuanced, so do take your time in weighing things up. In terms of when my friends are maybe questioning their choice of partner, something that I heard somewhere and now I ask my friends is, if you were to have a child right now and they only ended up having the characteristics of your partner, they got none of your characteristics, and your partner as they are now, how would you feel about that? Because for me, if I had a kid and they came out exactly like Jack, I would be thrilled. Like, I'd obviously be slightly disappointed that they weren't more like me, but Jack is an A-class person. I'd be really, really happy if my child is like Jack. Oh, that's sweet. Ew, gross. However, I've said this to some friends and they've gone, So yeah, take that as you will. How do you cope with hearing negativity about yourself IRL? Well, I've had some experience in this. Unfortunately, it comes as part of my job, and I believe there's no such thing as a thick skin. The fact that you're still out here chatting to people, not afraid to talk, you're doing fab. For me, the thing that has helped me, whether one-to-one with people in my real life or online, hearing negativity, is building my confidence in my thoughts and my opinions. And ironically, a part of that is having accountability for when I do mess up. Because I do mess up, we all do. It's about not being stubborn. So I was someone that would always take the blame because it just felt like it would easily resolve arguments. And that didn't help me because it wasn't very fair to me. And then I know some people are the exact opposite. They will be very proud and very stubborn and never take the blame. Because it's difficult, right? It hurts. So yeah, that was a bit of a tangent, but the main thing I do is take accountability for what I've done, fess up to it, try and make amends, try and make things better. And that in turn builds my confidence that I am a decent person. It's my job to like myself. And the way that I like myself is by being an upstanding person and doing the best I can. So when I know that I'm doing the best that I can, other people's criticisms of me feel easier to manage and deal with. I ultimately can't change how people feel about me. All I can do is be the best version of me. So if they feel negatively about me and I haven't done anything, that's a them problem. If you do feel like you've done something wrong, try and step out of the situation and look at it objectively. This might hurt me right now to hear the negativity, but is their criticism based in any truth? And is it something worth me crying over or trying to fix? And does the person leveling the negativity at you actually know you or care about you? When I've asked myself all of those questions, I'm kind of able to work out where I need to take accountability or apologize or make amends, or whether I don't really need to. A lot of it's about intention and a lot of it's about the actual implications and effects on someone. I can have been well-intentioned, but I can still have hurt someone. I need to take responsibility for the hurt. But honestly, some of the time people are just leveling negativity at you because I don't want to say they're jealous, although some people are jealous, but it's more to do with what's going on with them internally, and they're projecting, basically. They're projecting it onto you because you're an easy target for whatever reason. And finally, I remember a YouTuber called Imani Shola, who is such a babe, making a video a few years ago where she said, "You might not be someone's cup of tea, but you're probably someone's hot chocolate." And it's so cringe, but I say it to myself all the time. I might not be someone's cup of tea, but I'm probably someone's hot chocolate. People hold a lot of resentment in their heart as well, and that's something I'd encourage you to do. If you notice yourself feeling resentful towards a person, why is it happening? Because I get it, especially if someone reminds me of the characteristics I don't like about myself. I don't like them, and that's a me problem. Okay, we have time for one more wild card. Should we do 2 wild cards? Let's do 2 wild cards. What do you do if you don't like your friend's partner or significant other? Hard to navigate. So the question is, why don't you like them? Are they just not your kind of person? Are they boring? Do you think your friend can do better? Or are they genuinely a shitbag? I generally really like my friends' partners, but I don't like people who are non-committal, who flip-flop, who don't commit to my friends, because I know that all my friends are great girlfriends and boyfriends. They make incredible partners. So if you are not giving back 100% of what they're giving to you, I'm probably not gonna like you. Just putting it out there. So in terms of the lighthearted not liking a partner, I think you can just deal with that. I think you can just see them without their partner a bit. I just ask to see them one-on-one if they start bringing their partner to stuff, because you want to spend a bit of, quality time with your friend. Also, you've just got to accept that in the first 8 or 9 months, they will be in relationship mode and they just forget that they can do anything without their partner. Like, some people just get into that, but just accept it. 8 or 9 months of that, and then they will become your friend again. However, if you think that they're having a negative impact on your friend, I think that's where you can have a chat. In fact, I feel emotional thinking about it because I've had some friends in really shit situations and they've stayed. Yeah, it is just really hard, Communicate your concerns, but you only get one opportunity to do that, unfortunately. You will be seen as an op from that point on. Honesty without kindness is cruelty. So be honest, but be kind. And make sure that they know that no matter what happens, you're still gonna be there, even if they stay with that person. Even if they're getting married and having babies, you're still gonna be there for your friend. Get things off your chest in a kind way, be really honest and be warm and approachable, and then accept that from that point on, you can't influence anything. Yeah, and let's just hope that they see the light. Sometimes it takes years. Okay, final question. How do you move on when you feel that all of your university friendships have died? I think that we millennials and late Gen Z have experienced a romanticizing of university friendships from our parents and maybe like other relatives and TV and film, when really university friendships ain't shit. You are in the most intense transitional period of your life. You're thrown into a community full of strangers, and not only are you changing rapidly throughout that period, you're also changing so rapidly beyond that period once you graduate. So why do we expect these friendships to survive? You're making friendships at 18 that you would never make at 21. And don't get me wrong, some of the friendships do survive, and I've actually had an experience of rekindling friendships that I had that were very low level at university, that are now much stronger outside of university because we realized that we were each other's people. That's been really nice. But I lost all of my friends leaving uni. I fell out with people. I had a really rough time of it in my third year. It was actually for the better because those people weren't really my friends. We were thrown together. I really want the best for them. We just weren't meant to be friends. I had to learn, unfortunately, through living it. Yeah, really horrible, messy friendship breakups because you're in this petri dish environment, but also it's boiling hot. So you're in this really difficult, high stress experience, and you're living with people for the first time that aren't your family a lot of the time, and it's just hugely stressful and overwhelming, and you're all developing as people. You're actually all very different people. It's really hard to keep those friendships. The way I would deal with it is stop romanticizing the idea of university friendships and move on and make new friends. And I think I've already discussed this in this video, but the ways that I would approach making new friends is trying new classes, clubs, joining society, kind of political activism things if that's your jam, going to work events, going to mixers, going to industry events. Honestly, my friends have made friends in some of the strangest places. I mean, I've made one of my best friends in a support group for alcohol. Some of my friends have met their really good friends in grief support groups. You never know where you're gonna make friends, or lifelong friends. Church, if that's your vibe. My mum is a club queen. She has her group of friends, but then she also does rock choir, she does creative writing, she did adult ballet for a while. My mum is just out there making pals. And I know it's easier said than done, but if you put yourself out into these environments, the work will get done for you. And that is all I have time for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. It is lovely to have you. And thank you so much to Squarespace for making this video possible. I used to do a lot of like agony on writing on my Squarespace blog, but I don't anymore, weirdly. But I do still use my blog. So Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. It is so intuitive and easy to use. I built my website on there earlier this year. It was just a super chill process. I have my little color palette and I just put everything in. They have a load of website templates that you can start with, and you can really tailor your website to what you want on your site. So for me, I really wanted a portfolio space where you could kind of see what I do as just like in one hub. And then I also wanted a blog so I could write, have a creative outlet, and then also collate links and things that I think are really useful. So for example, I put together all of my recommendations for New York, and I've also done a whole post on everything in my wardrobe this autumn that's available to buy, so that you don't have to constantly message me like, hey, where did you get that thing? And then finally, I sell my presets. Hopefully I'm releasing a new one soon, which are the perfect way to curate your online aesthetic. And Squarespace supports a host of other features as well, so you can really build the business that you want to build online. I will leave the link down below, but if you use the code LucyMoon at checkout, you will get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. And I believe the link itself is squarespace.com/LucyMoon. I love it, I love it. But yeah, thank you Squarespace, you make this video possible. My coffee is finished, I'm gonna go edit this now, and I will see you in my next video.